Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, dear viewers, and we have a very special segment. Historically, the easiest way to travel through Egypt is Nile cruises that have been carrying visitors between Luxor and Aswan for over a century. And we are honored in this segment to host Youssef Mohamed, a student at the Department of Tourism Guidance, to tell us more information about the highlights of a Nile cruise. A very good day, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Nile.
Welcome, and thank you for hosting me.
It's our utmost pleasure. Youssef, Nile Cruise is a journey not just through land but through thousands of years of history, culture, religion, and architecture. Your intake on this, sir?
Okay. Look, I think that Egyptian civilization is like a cruise, sailing through through the ages of history. Maybe from thousands of years, we are the Egyptian civilization. Egyptian civilization, from many thousand years, we have learned the world. What's the meaning of art, engineering, arts, and we have learned them also. Build huge temples and carved statues. We have surprised the world of what we have do and we have learned. So that's Egyptian civilization. It's like a trip through ages and histories. Contains like the wars and shit like that.
Okay, Nile cruises are either 4 days, 3 nights, or 5 days, 4 nights. What do you recommend and why?
It differs or it's different from the taste or the time of tourists from one tourist to another. Maybe because of the touristic program for tourists, like some prefer 4 days, some prefer 5 days, maybe less, maybe more. And the difference here is from the taste and the time from of the touristic program with every tourist or every touristic group. Myself, I prefer maybe 5 days, 4 nights. Why? Because I have to have the opportunity to enjoy the stunning landscapes, especially those who like to have the what we can say the stunning landscape like a Nile cruise in Luxor or in Aswan, things like that, to enjoy the nature there.
What nationalities enjoy a long stay and others that enjoy to stay less than 5 nights?
Yes, I prefer 5 nights.
You prefer
Yeah,
nationalities. Which
myself.
countries? Which tourists from which countries prefer to stay 5 nights?
Lots of countries, you can say, you have tourists from all countries every day. America, South America, Japan, China. It's a lot of touristic groups every day. Some of them prefer when you have. Okay, let me tell you something. Also, the people who have a hard work times in other countries, cold winter in other countries, like to come here, stay cruise for a long time, just to enjoy the nature that's not in any country, that just Egypt. Nile is a symbol of survival, the symbol of eternity, and from many thousand years and through ages of history, Egyptians has respect the Nile River. So and the most evidence of this respect for the Nile River was the respect for the mummification process, which was began with washing the dead body with Nile water, and that was a symbol of eternity. If he was washed water of Nile River, he will stay in the other world, to wash him, or to purify him. So we have spoken the Nile River through age as it's a gift from God and symbol of eternity in ancient Egypt. Please, let me ask you, why Arabs have called it Luxor? Due to their huge temples, which Arabs has according to they said it's like a big palaces, so it's called it Luxor. And Luxor has a great history, has a great nature, has a great weather there, because you can find in terms of construction or in terms of ancient of ancient antiquities, we can find there the Temple of Luxor, which was started in the 18th dynasty in the New Kingdom by King Amenhotep III and ended in the 19th century by King Ramses II, and contains a huge carved statues. So, and there is a Queen Hatshepsut in the 18th dynasty had told her engineer in Senilmut to build her temple in Dir Bahari, which known by Temple of Queen Hatshepsut, which is we can say it's an engineering miracle in that time. So Luxor has a great we have also the Valley of the Kings, which there's a lots of tombs of the kings and queens like King Amenhotep III, Ramses II, Seti I and the second, and also we have the most important tomb there is the tomb of King Tutankhamun, which was revealed or discovered in 4th of November 1922, and it was by the king by Howard Carter. I'm sorry, and now 4th November 1922 is the National Day of Luxor. So it's a great city.
Okay, what is so special about the temple of Edfu and why was it built?
The temple of Edfu was built during the Ptolemaic kingdom, and it was built to worship the god Horus, or we can say it in ancient, we can say the chef Horus entity. And it's a new kind of god Horus, but in the Ptolemaic time. And it was built to worship him and to, to steal his name every day. So to worship the god Horus, they built this temple. It's very different from, or not different, like any temple. It's made to worship a god, like we can say Luxor temple to the god Amun, and the other temples in Amarna, but gods eaten. But this temple was to worship the god chef Horus entity for in the Ptolemaic kingdom, and that was unusual about other temples.
Okay, what is unusual about the temple of Kum Ombo?
Kum Ombo in Aswan, I tell you, that's very strange something.
Kum Ombo is in Aswan.
Yeah. Near Aswan. Now there's the Nile museum near the Kum Ombo temple. Why? Because we have discovered a lot.
Crocodile?
Yeah, crocodiles. Mummified dead crocodiles, of course.
It's mummified.
Yeah, it's found. We have put in this museum for many years. The difference in Komombo and what's unusual in Komombo temple is that we have found the crocodile museum, and and there's a question here: why we have found a crocodile in the temple? We have discovered ancient or Mr. Hawass and a lot of scientists have discovered that the crocodile museum contains the mummified crocodiles that we have discovered in the temple, and there's inscriptions written in the walls, that talks about these crocodiles. That was a symbol of freedom, symbol of power and powerful gods. So they have mummified these crocodiles, taken from water and mummified after their death, and put it in a hole in this temple. And we have taken them and put in a museum. That was very unusual and strange. Maybe it's not found in other temples.
Okay, while there's less to see in Aswan in terms of ancient Egyptian ruins, the city has an interesting history of its own and shows a whole other side to Egypt through its Nubian culture. Shed more light, please, on the Nubian culture.
God blessings on Egypt are very big. There's a series and some countries where there is less to see.
You mean to say God blessings on Egypt?
Yeah, God blessings on Egypt. Yeah, sorry. A city you can't find less in terms of construction or ancient constructions, but you can find nature, you can find a good weather, you can find good, kind and good people, just like that. That's what God blessings. And in Aswan, traditions, customs, Nubian culture that are different from any other country in the whole world. So can be tourists when they come to Aswan. Some people say we like the Nile River, we like to stay, we don't want to travel, and I see this from my eyes. And I have Nubian friends, so there's traditions, customs there, and cultures are not found the whole world. That maybe can be different.
Okay, Youssef, after the opening of Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada museums, the Tourism and Antiquities Minister announced that Egypt will be launching direct flights from Sharm el-Sheikh to Luxor and from Hurghada to Aswan to enable tourists to enjoy cultural tourism. How do you view this?
I can view this and say that it will be very easier to tourists to inside transport from inside Egypt. We all know that Cairo airport, that was the first airport, I think, and the tourists have to come from his airport. Will say from America, and come to the Cairo airport and travel inside. No, after opening the museums, as you said, we have tourists can come from Hurghada to Cairo, from Hurghada to Charm, from the place that he is there, not what I can say. that's be easy to travel. I don't have the specific meaning. I think, but it would be easier for transporting. That's what he can get. And for the time in the touristic program, as I said before, he's coming to visit the new museum or specific museums. So to visit Gurgada Museum, Sharm el-Sheikh Museum, and if there is time through program, touristic program, he can come and visit the new Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza from the Sphinx Airport, which is open near the museum. So all these airports, all these travels and time of trips will be so much easier for tourists to transport in Cairo and Giza to Sharm. You like that?
So in short, Youssef, it facilitates the movement of tourists in Egypt when they come. It's easily facilitated
Yes, it'd
from
be more
Luxor to
easier, of
Aswan
course.
to Cairo, everywhere.
Of course.
Okay. Finally, what measures, in your perspective, should the ministry take to promote cultural tourism to the markets seeking beach tourism?
Most important thing, advertising is a marketing. A ministry
And
of
what are your means from your own point of view of advertising?
advertising, like we see sometimes Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities make videos, photos like that in every country, Egypt, about beach tourism, about every kind of tourism, I think. Culture tourism, beach tourism, every kind of religious tourism, but we can make a correct propaganda to say to tourists that Egypt are safe and every ancient Egypt are safe, and you have to come. We have everything, especially in beach tourism, which is maybe it's found also in places like South America, in the Maldives, but not very famous in Egypt. We have to make more advertising. Advertising is the best thing
What
here.
do you recommend for more advertising?
I recommend Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. I see what they are doing from advertising, and I appreciate this. But I think that we have more advertising, more propaganda. That's
You
what we
need
need.
more propaganda.
We need
That's
more.
what it is. You need
Yeah,
more.
some little videos which differ from 2 minutes to 5 minutes will not. Not. They have more. There's more.
Okay,
There is
what
more
are
we
your
can do.
recommendations for more propaganda and more advertisement?
We can, and as we did before for many years, I think, to say to superstars from all over the world, actors, superstars, to come to Egypt. Like I'll tell you something from I think from 2 weeks or 1 week. I think the American actor Tom Hanks was in Egypt, and there was a restaurant in Zamalek. It was Egyptian restaurant. Look, after the video that was showed that Tom Hanks was there, I think all over the world will look this restaurant right now, either in Egypt or outside Egypt. So we can do this. We can tell superstars to come to make advertising for every ancient Egypt, and especially in tourism. That's the most important thing for everyone on the board like this.
Mr. Youssef Mohamed, of course, student at the Department of Tourism Guidance. Thank you very much, and we are honored to have you with us in today's episode of Nile.
You're
Cruise. It was
welcome.
our
Thank you for
utmost
asking me
pleasure. Thank you
today.
very much for your informative knowledge.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Dear viewers, stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be back again with another segment and another guest. Don't go away.